All right, looks like we are all set up, so I'm going to throw things over to MrCab with Cometstriker. Please give it up for MrCab.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cometstriker. I'm MrCab. We're going to let the couch introduce themselves.
I'm johncarls.
I'm Enemy.
Strider86.
TheBlacktastic.
All right. And who won the bid war?
Cometstriker.
Just looking that up right now for you. So the winner of the bid war was Striker.
Was Striker.
Ooh. Come from behind victory.
Ooh.
I totally know what that means.
That's the main character.
Oh, cool.
Character.
It's like if Mega Man won the bid war.
Oh,
Mega
good.
Man.
Nice.
Yeah.
We like him.
We do. He's a good guy.
All right. So if we're ready, we're going to get this started in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Hey. Let's strike.
This is Cometstriker, kind of a screen-by-screen indie shmup that just came out this last year. The main goal here is just keep going, save the world, destroy the parasites. You know how it is.
And to aid you in keep going, you do have these power-ups that aid you in the run. We do have the multi-boost, which you got, which allows the striker to dash up to 3 times. Really good for invincibility frames and ramming into enemies. The second one that you brought up was the shield, which protects you from enemy attacks, and also strengthens the damage of the boost if you were to ram it into an enemy from 1 to 3. The last one that you're going to be picking up is the super gun, which increases the rates of fire of the striker, though not through, doesn't increase the damage per shot, but it does have you shoot faster, so that's more DPS in the long run.
It also gives you a little bit of a size boost in the bullets too in terms of striker, so it makes it a little easier to hit.
There are mainly 2 ways to progress through these stages. Either you're going to be collecting these little key cards or SD card looking things in order to progress through the stage, or the game will force you to kill all of the enemies in an arena before you progress. It's one of the first mini bosses in the game.
Every stage has a mid-boss. This is Scuttlefish. We basically want to keep shooting, but we do want to get the little extra damage from the boost, especially with the shield. Hooray for multi-boost.
Yeah, so every time he's boosting into that enemy's hitbox, he's doing continuous damage while shooting the blaster at the same time. So it's a really good strategy.
Yeah, we're going to use the boost a lot to just kind of bait enemies out, get a little extra damage here and there.
So as the one person on the couch who's never seen this game, I have one question.
Yeah.
Where are all the comments?
They are out in
I
space.
like to think that that's what's trailing behind him, right? He's making comments.
But he's not really striking them.
Well, he's the striker.
Well, he
Okay.
is Lieutenant Cometstriker.
Yeah,
Wow.
first name.
It's a persona thing.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah.
There are some branching paths as we go. We're just going to take the faster one. They're the same number of rooms for the most part. It's all difficulty function.
Either you'll face like more mobs of enemies if you go down one path,
Or it's like a giant maze kind of room, and who wants to deal with that?
Yeah, Ice Lizard Games actually took care into this level design of making it a perfect balance of just arcade style, speed run style. You do have a par timer if you do want to get that S rank at the top part of the screen. So if you want to go fast, you'll get the S rank. It's a lot rewarding.
Yeah.
And if you are actually playing for a score, like you definitely want to get those S ranks too.
Another neat addition about the shield as well is when you lose the shield, it will explode and it will damage enemies. So what you will see Cab doing at certain times is he will actually take a voluntary damage boost inside an enemy to actually explode the shield, doing multiple points of damage. And he'll usually do this in a place where he knows there's another shield upgrade that can easily be grabbed.
Oh, that's really cool.
First boss.
There's Bubble Crab.
I don't get it.
So this is one of the first bosses in the game, and you'll kind of know that the bosses are extremely spongy in their HP pool. They kind of like force you to go through this bullet hell sequence. A lot of things flying at you at the same time. It's a bit hard for the casual player, but for MrCab though,
Look at that.
Easy.
Easy fight. You get the scoop
That's nice. That's a nice little ditty.
Look at that S rank.
S rank.
That's the highest rank.
That seems
Swag.
really high.
As long as we meet all the part times, you can see the timer ticking down in the top right corner of the screen there. And don't take actual hit point damage. We can lose the shield, but we can't lose an actual hit point. You should get an S rank.
It's also a thing worth to note that you don't want to take damage to begin with, especially if you lose your shield, because then you start losing power-ups along with that.
And the first one you always lose is the triple boost. You don't want to lose the multi-boost. You never want to lose multi-boost.
Oh, not the bees.
I just like bees. It's the name of the room.
No.
Oh my goodness, those bees.
Striker especially it's really punishing if you do lose the multi-boost because he starts with a default of 1, unlike some characters that have a natural 2 boost. So it's really key with Striker to keep that triple boost because you just lose 2 extra boosts in the process if you happen to get hit.
I'm just playing safe right now because I don't have my shield.
So for just the context of people watching that haven't seen the run before, like maybe myself, what are the different categories that we're being bid against, and like what makes this one particularly interesting that Cab is rooting for it?
So this is Lieutenant Striker, the main character of the game. Ooh. Who just has, like we were talking about, this straight ahead shot. The other character we could have been playing as the ninja, who's a little faster, has a really overpowered sword, and just cuts through this game like butter. Goodbye, S rank.
The ninja is kind of a glass cannon style character. It starts with the double natural boost. His sword is extremely overpowered, but the caveat to that is he dies very quickly. He has less health than the other characters.
Interesting. And does that provide for like a pretty decent variety of like difference in strategies?
Oh, definitely.
The bosses especially. Snake.
So we are going to see some more interesting boss fights because of this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, different.
This Lieutenant Striker definitely shows off the game a little more because he just doesn't go through the game nearly as fast. Record with Striker is about 9 minutes slower than record with Ninja. But the Ninja is kind of a broken character anyway, so he's fun for sure.
That's quite the face. That was the I'm exploding face.
I think every boss has like little teardrops too because they're sad they're exploding.
Something to note with the bosses too is you will never see bosses repeat a pattern until they've basically executed all of their other actions and kind of exhausted their full move list. It's still random in the order that the moves actually appear, but once you've seen, for example, all but one of the boss's moves, you know that you can kind of predict that last move.
It's worth noting too, every time I pick up a power-up, I have a few seconds of iframes. So I can definitely use that to my advantage as I'm healing back up or exploding the shield in the first place. We see that a lot more as we start going to the next couple of stages. But if I have the chance to do it now, I won't not do it. Ooh. We're definitely having a few of those why am I still holding my shield moments here.
We have time for a quick donation.
Of course.
Awesome. We have a donation of $200 from Mrs. Cab.
Yo!
So, Mr. Cab, I know you gotta go fast, but let's show off what this game is really made of. Putting it all on Striker from Mrs. Cab.
She sniped it.
She did it.
Do you know her? Do you know Mrs. Cab?
I do.
Oh, nice.
Morning, hon.
Shout outs to Baby Cab.
Shout outs to Baby Cab. Probably woke her up. He knew. This is the Queen Beetle. Lost my shield earlier than I wanted to. So just gotta be a little careful here. This is actually a really good pattern for me because I can manipulate her into dropping down. The Beetle always charges to the further side of the room.
So if you were to highlight the difference between kind of like a really good run of Cometstriker versus one that maybe didn't go quite as planned, would the boss fights be one of the biggest differentiators, or would it be more movement throughout the levels?
More movement through the levels, although there's definitely kind of a Wily Casino factor because I play too many Mega Man games when we get to just like boss RNG and which pattern they choose. Sometimes the bosses will decide you're just not PBing today.
That's not S rank.
It wasn't. I took the hit point damage early on. This is the best music in the game.
Speaking of Wily, there's a capsule.
There you go. This stage we start getting more lasers. I don't like lasers.
Yeah, with every new unique world that you travel to, the game starts to slowly introduce brand new like death hazards, stage hazards.
Get enemies with shields now, too.
Wouldn't have been a problem with the ninja.
I know, right? Ninja ignores shields. Just doesn't know the meaning of the word.
This music's really good.
This game has great music.
It's what the kids say is like on fire, on fleek. What do they say?
It's fire.
It's the fire music.
I'm not even going.
I don't know. I'm an old man. I don't know the new kids'
Yeah.
terms.
You kids with your fancy terms.
Yeah, seems pretty good.
This room is just really annoying because you have to wait for this, just all these lasers to get out of your way so you can actually shoot bad guys.
I guess another small point that's worth noting is there is actually a speed difference if Cab was to hold the attack button or be attacking while moving. It's very moderate, it's very slight, but it is indeed there. So if you're going for speed, you can't just simply hold down the attack button and kind of blaze around the level. You do want to use your attacks systematically and effectively.
Get out of here. You see that a lot more later on in the game when there's a couple of sequences, you have to move quickly through an area. If you're holding shoot, you'll be wondering, why can't I do this? It's impossible. Now we're getting into the generator where the game starts to actually start throwing lots of bullets on the screen at once.
Seems like an excessive amount of bullets, if you ask me.
It might be like a hellish amount of bullets.
Now we get the big energy shots now too.
But yeah, that dodge mechanic that carries him all the way through.
Oh, look, a bee.
Oh,
Look at that, right through.
I think people have asked this before too. Like the yellow part of the life meter is kind of neat, but it doesn't actually accomplish anything yet. It just tells you what's going on. It's always good to see the full yellow meter. It means you never were always hitting. So yeah, if we can get through this screen, we're really gonna start seeing the whole, let's start ditching the shield on purpose, because who wants to deal with setting off all these mines, dodging all these shots? Whoa.
All right, if I pop in with another donation. Henchman 2896 donates $250. Hey, Mr. Cab, had to donate during Cometstriker, one of my favorites and most frustrating games. Donation goes to Runner's Choice.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Ange.
Thanks.
Woo!
I think we're putting everything towards, what did you say, Strizer? The glitch exhibition?
Yeah, the Aria of Sorrow glitch exhibition looks like it was pretty close. It was like 80% before we started, and you guys are gonna want to see that. That's gonna be fabulous.
Nice.
Sounds like a whole expedition of glitches.
Yeah. So we're just in the part of the game where I don't want to lose it, this boost at all. You can lose the shield there and take him out, because every boss room does have a power-up right before we get in the door. The Super Metroid doors.
So
Are you sure that's not a snake?
It's either a snake or a T-Rex. I've been told it's a T-Rex. I trust people. Maybe I should.
Pretty snaky.
Oh my goodness. Kind of goes up and down. These are like little one-way walls. I don't know why I did that, because I'm gonna get hit now.
It's also worth noting that Mr. Cab is using the full length of those boosts to extend his invincibility frames. It's really useful in these sequences where a lot of things are just coming at you.
A little bit of an unfortunate shield pattern there.
Yeah, the less health this boss has, the more of those little shield walls pop up.
How difficult is it to adjust to? Basically, a lot of the strats seem to be maintaining those iframes as much as you can throughout levels and knowing when they run out. How hard can it be to adjust?
He makes
to
it look
that?
so
No,
easy.
it does take a
it
little
is
work
so
to get the
tough when
timing
he plays
down.
casually. But that's why he's here representing the game, man, because he's got it down.
When you're first learning the game a lot, there's a lot of figuring out just what the actual muscle memory is to be able to boost again. And you'll be saying a lot, where was my boost? Why don't I have it again yet?
Then you'll be getting S rank before you know it.
Mm-hmm. And more enemies with shields.
More sand.
More sand.
I hate sand.
I hate sand.
Not a beachgoer, eh?
Of course, it's grainy. It gets everywhere. It's awful.
It can be a real beach.
You also start getting dragons in this level.
Yo, dragons are cool.
There she is.
Yeah.
Something I don't think you're going to necessarily see, but can happen, is the power-ups actually are kind of on a limited timer. They'll spot you, if you will, and they will basically get away or kind of, nope out really quickly. So you can approach a power-up, and if you don't collect it fast enough, it can actually disappear, and you won't get it.
Yeah, that's fun.
I like this room name. Ah!
Pretty good.
You all are good readers.
This is one of the two, why would you put these enemies into vertical rooms? We don't get to see the other one because it's on a bad path.
And those vertical rooms are actually a bit trickier than you might actually think. So Lieutenant Stryker can only shoot left and right. Whereas with like any of the other characters, especially like the ninja, you get a nice curve to your hitbox. You can hit above and below an enemy. It's just simpler. But when faced with those vertical rooms, like a lot of expert execution needs to be added.
These shielded enemies here, the green enemies, essentially what they do is the shield does reflect your shots, and they can hurt you being reflected. And then once you kill them, they actually explode as well. So you kind of want to be in far range, which is a little bit more difficult with Ninja, but thankfully Stryker has that distance advantage.
I just noticed I don't have a shield. That could have been bad.
And again, just the later screens in the world, just amping up these, stage hazards. And here's Gravity Lion.
Gravity Antlion is probably a really annoying boss in your first playthrough of this game. Especially before you get a real handle on the proximity mines and how the boosting mechanics in this game work. And this pattern will get you, but shoutouts to Eldra, who actually has the world record in this category. That's Eldra's cute strat.
That was so cute.
I asked him what to say. He said the cute strat.
Aww. There we go, just using that invincibility of the shield. How much damage does the shield do on explosion, Kev?
So if you do a normal boost, it's 1 hit point of damage. If you do a shielded boost, it's 3 hit points of damage. When the shield explodes, I'm actually not entirely sure how much each bullet does. I think it's only 1, but there's 8 of them. So if you're doing it on purpose, you can, do 8 hit points of damage right there with it. Ah, the caravans are awful.
Just trying to make sure that he's not getting hit by those reflected bullets.
Yeah. A little trickier than it looks in that room.
You can also notice him trying to finish off killing the enemies as far as close to the exit of the room as you can possibly.
Yeah.
Obviously, optimize movement.
Gotta
There's
get that bar
definitely a little bit of making sure I'm killing the enemies that explode first, that have like long animations.
Yeah.
Just because the wall won't go away until they finish that.
That's actually a good example with that caravan right there.
Yeah.
Whoa. Why do I still have a shield?
Why does that guy still have a shield?
Ah, this is the least threatening enemy in the room. Okay, thank you, boost.
Triple boost is just so useful.
It's just critical to have it. Otherwise, in that room especially, you're just like dodging fire bars, waiting for it to come back.
If I'm being completely TBH, you haven't struck any comets yet. Still. Still very disappointed.
I promise you, johncarls, there will be a comment on screen eventually.
Okay.
The comet was the friendships we made along the way.
Oh.
It's a metaphor, really.
You can't give it up all at once.
Right. If you are familiar with the lore, the Cometstriker part makes complete sense.
Oh.
That's
Know
true.
your lore.
Why don't you tell me about the lore? I've got to respect the lore, so what are we doing
I've got to
here?
respect this boss. This is actually,
This is the worst boss in the game.
yeah.
Yeah, jump.
Oh, good.
There's a mini champ you can get as a playable character in the game. It's awesome. My favorite character.
Nadua.
Shadows of Nadua.
This is actually a really easy pattern to dodge. It's actually good. This is just the best pattern to get. It's hard to dodge the first instance of him dashing at you if you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
But after that,
Really good fight.
it's pretty free.
Losing your shield early in that fight, staying alive, that was really nice.
Losing the shield is just always annoying because you want that extra chip damage.
Ew.
Nice.
Okay. So the lore of this game actually is that there was these invading like parasite monsters. You know, it's a generic shooter kind of thing. And we were collecting cores from all the other planets to fire our super cannon at it. It turned out all that didn't quite work, so now we're actually inside the biostation, which looks really creepy.
Because we don't like parasites.
Parasites are bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
This stage is a bit of an homage to a game called AGDQ2019. It was an NES shoot 'em up, and it's a total ripoff of Life Force. But it's an awesome game. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, I definitely see the parallels with Life Force.
Is Abadox the Secret Inner War or something? I'm trying to remember the subtitle of that game right now.
This room's a little bit terrible.
Yeah, these things will not stop spawning until you hit those green bases.
Right. There are going to be more and more terrible rooms going forward here as we reach the end.
Yeah, this isn't even the worst room in the game.
Not at all.
But we do have those, like, the exploding bugs that just spawn out of their tanks as you pass by. That bug. Using the iframes of collecting a power up there. The anti-heroes.
Yeah, you can kind of tell we're getting close to end game because the game's now like throwing like pretty much a lot of elements from and all the stage hazards from the previous worlds in here.
It's a good culmination. Like, they layer different things and they kind of teach you along the way, which is really handy. And then you kind of get to your end game where this is the full meal deal. You know, put all those skills and all those strats together and let's see how you do.
It's always nice when a game's able to do a good culmination of, here are all the game skills you picked up to this point, now can you execute them all in a row?
Yeah.
Spoiler, MrCab can.
Can I, though?
True. I believe.
We might have a disaster.
Yeah, this is a pretty annoying mini boss.
This pattern. Why?
Wow, has any other video game had a eyeball boss before?
I don't think so.
Never.
It's a rare occurrence, honestly. Definitely not Nintendo games, especially.
Really cool idea.
This is a great pattern for any character with a ranged attack, also known as any character not named the ninja.
Yeah.
On about 40% health, this happens.
Yep. So you gotta dodge down.
When you only have one boost, this is just really bad because you have to dodge back and forth, waiting for the boost to recharge.
Also trying to avert your eyes from the nightmare fuel that is this boss.
I know, right?
Wow.
Good job.
You can't say enough good things about the movement
But
that
the
he
true
showed
final
there.
boss.
Is Mega Dragon.
Absolutely great movement.
But look at this guy. Wow.
Just a hit point sponge, a wall of shots. Oh!
You almost took your head off there. All right, never mind.
Imagine that without multi-boost for a second now.
I can't imagine any of this without multi-boost, to be honest.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So the purple shield enemies will charge you, so if I went out there to get them, you would have just charged completely out of range. The teleporting enemies, it's worth noting, actually, the spot they teleport to is somewhat dependent on where your character is on the screen. So there is a little bit of, as long as your movement's always the same, you can control where they are. Use this block as a little shield. Alright.
straight fire right now.
Straight
fire.
That game throughout, the music throughout the entire game is just so good.
So you see gems pop out of these little enemies when we kill them, and you see that we're like not necessarily caring about them, but there is like a certain separate sort of like leaderboard for the score attack enthusiasts. Ice Lizard game was really nice, and including all communities when competing for like a high score, like a fast record in a speed run.
That's awesome.
Cab was showing us earlier too. It's a culmination of those two communities. If you look at this top scorer leaderboard, you will see all of the top score players followed very closely by the speedrunners. Then if you look at the speedrunning leaderboard, it's actually vice versa. And you'll see the speedrunners first, and then very shortly after, because a big part of getting a high score is doing it quickly, you'll see the score runners.
Wow.
These little mute crimson eyeballs.
Shouts to
That's
the eyeball
where I
buddies.
recognize those from. I didn't pick that out earlier.
Also an Ice Lizard game.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Games. Game.
Blizzard games.
So many games.
Oh, you're still here. Why are these little bugs still chasing me? Hover Tank 2 is actually a really annoying enemy. Just manipulating him to stay on the middle of the screen is the key. And boosting through like 3 things at once here. One more Mecha Dragon.
Final boss again?
Refights, dude.
Are you ready for round 2?
Oh my goodness. I know there's a lot of power-ups in the next room, so I don't really care what happens in this room.
Yeah, as you can see, this room is called The End.
Oh, good luck.
You'll need it.
Apparently.
You'll need it.
Speaking of refights,
Yep.
The Reanimator. So the stage itself was a culmination of all the stage hazards and all the enemies that you fought in the game. This is a kind of culmination of all of the bosses that you fought in the game. There goes the snake dragon thing in the third
cool.
stage. Also putting out bubbles and mines and all of this. Like,
It's a boss rush all in one rush.
Yeah,
all
and
in one boss.
they swap up attacks and they mix up attacks. That's where you're seeing the bubbles with the T-Rex snake thing.
now look at this
and the
double
shot pattern
gear
from the
going on
snake is
here.
from the beetle.
And the animator itself has one unique attack, which I believe is this one, if I'm not mistaken, Cap?
It's one original attack.
Yeah.
Look at this micro spacing.
Threading the needle there.
Getting right in there. This is actually one point in the game where it's useful to hold shoot and go slowly.
I'm jealous.
Just kind of weave between all those shots.
So this would be the end of the game in an easier difficulty.
Right.
Yeah, if we were playing on easy, that's it.
That's why we're playing on
If you're
hard.
playing on at least normal, we get to go here.
So you get to fight this boss.
Shouts to Rangabanga.
And I believe this is also the boss that doesn't follow the rule of not being able to duplicate attacks until it's gone through the entire cycle. It treats both sides independently. So as a result, it can break that rule, and you can see some attacks back to back that you wouldn't really see with other bosses.
It could be a bit unfavorable, especially for the
ninja.
Yeah.
If it does anything with like lots of lasers, but we got onion rings and relish packets here.
But look at that.
That's actually the best pattern to get.
This also would be
Yeah,
the end of the
just
game
hook you up.
if played on the normal difficulty.
Yes. But wait, there's more.
We're going one
We're
step
on
further.
They're really packing in the value here.
It's true.
I like my games to have at least 4 final bosses.
Well, because this is like a retro-style space shooter, it is legally required to end with a giant heart boss.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And thank goodness this boss has a rather large hitbox, so you can get your little shield boost dashes pretty consistently. But there's a lot of things to take care of when completing this boss. There's sort of like an objective within an objective. You gotta hit both switches on the side of the screen to even open the heart to be able to damage it to begin with. Then he has all these things thrown at you, and then
Oh boy.
Lasers everywhere.
lasers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose my shield there.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't want to, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, you got-
Very nice.
But wait,
There's more.
there's more.
We're not quite
How
done.
many more final bosses do you think we're gonna see?
Well, there's not a final boss anymore. That was the final boss.
That was the final boss.
But there is more video games.
This
to be
is
had.
more
there you
video
go,
game.
Kev.
I think he might have a fun score at the end of it.
You might.
I think you might.
All right, welcome to the Space Cave of Wonders.
So now we have the.
Can you sing the song for us, or
I don't know
from
what
the Cave of Wonders?
don't know what that is.
Isn't the only song in the Cave of Wonders, You Never Had a Friend Like Me?
So yeah, again, if you're familiar with Life Force, well, Life Force is a vertical scroller at the end, but in Abadox it's a horizontal scroller that gets progressively faster, and you have to make your way out of the thing as it's exploding. So as you can see, the fire is following Cab up, and he's just staying in front of it and dashing through the lasers, getting past the enemies as he can, and as soon as he escapes.
We mentioned earlier too, this is actually one of the areas you don't want to shoot for the duration, because your speed loss will actually impact you to the point of dying in this sequence. So this is actually where that lesson is, the hard lesson, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
So as this game wraps up, if somebody is out there watching this thinking, man, I really want to try this game out, where can they get it and how can they learn how to speedrun it?
They can learn how to speedrun it by watching MrCab55 or Eldra. I mean, they're both amazing at this game. And obviously, you go onto Steam and check out Cometstriker.
And honestly, the barrier of entry is pretty easy for this game. You can just go up the difficulties, and you'll learn these different strats as you play.
Yeah, just hop on Steam, grab this game. If you play on easy, there's a lot less enemies, less hazards, and time's coming up as soon as the screen stops here. As soon as we see some comets out in space.
There's your comment.
There it is.
Thank you. Comments, yes.
29:24, nice.
Yo.
This game does go by in-game time. It's pretty accurate. The developers made sure of that. It's really good. Bobby, thanks for organizing the blind race way back in June.
Oh yeah, I mean the developers at Isolator Games are super heavy into the speedrunning community. So I went ahead and contacted them, and we were able to get people like MrCab, myself, Colonel Fatso, Mega Master X, into this huge blind race, and everyone just ended up purely loving the game, like so much to the point that like Eldra was on the grind day one.
Oh yeah, Eldra's got this game down.
Everybody watching should go follow MrCab, twitch.tv/MrCab55. Yep.
True.
Worth your follow. You will see many good games.
Yeah.
And this game looks cool. Go check it out. This soundtrack is
Great soundtrack,
Yeah.
great
It's just
action.
bumping.
If you like shmups, arena shooters, I mean, it's amazing all the way.
And it's not going to hurt your wallet.
Oh, and it's got
It's
the
not.
sweet labyrinth
Oh, no.
mode now, which is kind of like a randomizer.
Yeah, there's a labyrinth mode. It's kind of like a randomizer-ish, screen by screen, just generated on the fly. It's
Yeah,
cool.
a lot of free content being added to this game. As they just think
They do
it
right
up
by their customers,
Yeah.
for sure.
for sure.
Oh, and shout outs to Dark Terex who helped with testing this game, so I didn't have to do Turbo Tunnel at the end. That would have been bad. That would have been terrible. Oh, I guess that's it. Thanks, everybody. Oh, we got the final screen up here. But that's it.
great run,
Shout
man.
outs to Tom and Pat.
Shouts to Tom and Pat and Terrell. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Cab, for an absolutely amazing run. So I just want to give you all a heads up. For Chimera, Destroy All Monster Girls, we are $1,000 away from Berserk mode. So if you want to see a high-risk, high-reward run, please get your donations in right away. It's going to be super fantastic. And like I just said, coming up next is Chimera, Destroy All Monster Girls, run by Snapcase. The run coming up after that is going to be Another World 20th Anniversary Edition, run by Brand Oats. And then we've got Monster World 4, run by Cyclone. So please stay tuned for these awesome runs. We've got a $25 donation from Hype Shy. Hello, everyone. Been following for 5 years from now. Second time donation. My grandfather died from cancer at December 26th of last year. So why not help such a great cause such as GDQ? Good luck to all the runners. Hashtag kill the animals. MP42 donates $25. Stay curious, stay awesome. Madar donates $50 and asks a simple question: when do we sleep? And honestly, I do not have an answer for that. We've got a $15 donation from, I believe it's Goose. Greetings from Sweden. 1 week with no work and AGDQ at the same time. Has never been more happy. Will donate $20 more if the announcer can pronounce my Swedish gamer tag on the first try. Go fast and kill cancer. And I think I got it right there, Goose. Flamus donates $250. No comment, but I do want to say thank you very much for your donation. Just to follow up on the Cometstriker run, we've got a $15 donation from Dark Terax. I admit I'm a little jealous, MrCab, that you got in this before I managed with Mute Chrisman Plus. But hey, I'm excited nonetheless. Ice Lizard Games kindly invited me to beta test Cometstriker, and because of that, they had to lower the difficulty of the final boss. So I either did really good for them or I must really suck. Wish I could be there to commentate, but alas, I have to be up for work in 4 hours. Good luck with the run. Very glad to see it in. Well, Dark Terax, it was a fantastic run. So thank you very much. Dark Saplep donates $10. Been watching GDQ for many years, but this is my first time donating. Luckily, I work as a help desk agent, so I can still watch in between calls at work. Have an awesome week and good luck to all the runners. We have a $15 donation from Anonymous. My mother recently went through a breast cancer scare this last year, and I was an absolute wreck. Anything I can do to help someone else not to have experienced that is an important cause. Well, thank you very much for your donation. And just a reminder that any donation amount helps. It doesn't matter if you're donating $5, $500, or $5,000. Everything goes to a wonderful cause, so please get your donations in. got a $20 donation from Mandu. A had to donate during Chimera, destroy all monster girls. Congrats on your game being speed ran at AGDQ, Syax, and good luck to Snapcase on the run.
So, just sent through a donation if you refresh here.
So thank you so much to an anonymous donation of $1,057 saying, let's go berserk. So the incentive has been met. Thank you so much. And to follow up on our last donation from Goose, $20. Darn it. Well, more money for charity, I guess. Money goes to Announcer's Choice. Well, thank you very much, and I'm happy I was able to pronounce your tag correctly.